Yeah, good morning, friends. Welcome back. So, yesterday, remember, we have seen some hardware part actually, and we have seen the types of operating systems also. So, let us do small revision here before we move. So, what are the types of operating systems we have, friends? We have like two types here, right? One is a client operating system, another one is your server operating system. Okay. Client operating system examples are Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. These are your client OS. What is the use of client OS? Client OS is used for browsing purpose, audio, video, office work, games, and all those things. This is the main reason for designing this client operating system. And we know this very well. As of now, we are using Windows 8, 10, and Windows 11. Whatever is said before Windows 8, these are outdated, right? Okay, these are the client OS. Coming to server OS. Server OS is used specially in server machines. Server OS is similar to client OS in use. That is in, operating wise, it is same. But what is the main use of server OS? Server OS is designed specially for administration. To manage your company, to manage your network, we will go with the server administration. We'll go with the server operating system. I repeat, to manage your network, we will go with this server operating system. So this is our computer network here. Okay, so in this computer network, you can see a server. So this server has a operating system. And this server has which operating system? Server operating system. And this laptop has which operating system? Client operating system. By the way, there is an operating system in router also. That operating system is called iOS. It's a different operating system. There is a different operating system in our switch. There is a different operating system in our firewall. So every machine has the operating system. Okay, each and every machine, each and every device has an operating system there. So in server, we can go with either Windows server operating system, or I can go with Linux server operating system. Remember, I told you 90 to 95% cases all over the globe, we can see either Windows server operating system or maybe like Linux server operating system. These are the two widely used operating systems we have. Okay. Okay, there is a question here like, in my company log into remote desktop and do work on a specific software. Yeah, that is your it can be Windows servers or it can be Linux server actually. You're directly connected to a application. That means it can be a Windows server or it can be a Linux server. It can be any server. Remote connection is possible on Windows servers and remote connection is possible on Linux server. Both the servers that is possible. Okay, fine. So this is your server operating system, friends. And we know the versions of server operating system here. What are the versions we have here? See, from Windows, we have the versions like 2000, 2003, 2008. And we know all these things are outdated now. We are using 2012, 2016, 19 or 22. Majority of cases we will see 2012 and 2016. 2019 is very rare and 2022 maybe like very few companies are using 2022. So most of the companies they still go with like 2016, 12 or either 19. I remember I told you if you know how to use any one operating system, you can work on all the other operating systems. Okay, if you know 2016, you can work on 2012 as well as 2019. If you know 2012, you can work on 16 as well as 19. The administration part will be same. Fine. These are the operating systems we have. Done. Now, whenever you take a server, remember I showed you some servers. Like for example, see there is a company called Dell, HP, IBM. These companies are the most famous companies that manufacture your servers. Server is a hardware machine as well as a software. Server hardware machine is like your computer or a laptop, right? There is a motherboard, processor, RAM, hard disk, all those things. Okay, so whatever companies that manufacture your laptops, the same companies will manufacture your servers. Okay, so normally you see a Dell computer, a Dell laptop, or a Toshiba laptop, a Lenovo laptop, Acer or Asus, or you may see like HP or IBM. These are the very famous companies that manufacture your laptops. So the same company will manufacture your server. If I say like HP server, let us see some models here. So this is one HP server here. This is one more HP server here. So here the cost of this server is 1,67,000 rupees. So 1,67,000 rupees means it is a bit costly, right? So let us see some specifications here. So we have all the specifications about this machine. But whenever you see this server, it will be always written as without operating system. Means whenever you purchase a server, whenever you buy a server, whenever you see the specification, can you see no operating system included? Means when you purchase a server, you are purchasing a physical server separately. You have to buy the physical server separately, and you have to take the operating system separately. Physical server is from HP, Dell, IBM, these companies, and operating system is from Microsoft or Linux. Microsoft and Linux, they will not manufacture the hardware. They are into software. They just develop their operating system and all those things. So see here, this is some server somewhere. Okay, and it is quite again costly. Like see here, 2,29,000 rupees. 2,29,000 rupees will be like approximately $2,500. So $2,500 is some money, right? So you're spending that much money to buy this server, buy this physical server. But this physical server comes without the operating system. So what we have to do here is, as the administrator, the first thing we have to do is, whenever you purchase any server, we need to install the server operating system in it. Okay, these are HP servers. I will go to some other company like say IBM servers. I'll just open some random servers here. Again, if you go and see the specifications of these servers, it will be written as no operating system included. This server also comes without the operating system. Okay, now right now the operating system is IBM, AIX IBM. This is the operating system from IBM company itself. But most of the cases we will not go with this operating system. We will go with either Windows operating system or Linux operating system, right? Okay, so done. Whenever we take a server, the server comes without a operating system, especially without your Windows operating system or Linux operating system. So the first thing we have to do here, friends, is we should know how to install operating system in our server. In the same way, you should know how to install operating system in your computers. Actually, when you purchase a router, when you buy a router or a switch, the operating system is already available in router or a switch. It is there. But still, when you go with CCNA, there we will see like how to update the operating system or how to download all these things we will see there. But coming to servers and computers, especially, the operating system is not available. So we should know how to install the operating system. And see, installation of Windows Server operating system or installation of client operating system is exactly same. Maybe there are some minor differences here and there, but overall, If you know how to install Windows Server 2016 operating system, you can install Windows Server 2019, 2012, 2016, Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 11, and even Linux operating system also. You can install all the operating systems. The installation part is completely same. Done? Okay, so let us see how to do the installation. But before we see the installation, we need to see one more basic thing here. There is a terminology here, friends, that is called booting. When you switch on the computer or a laptop or a server, we should not say like the computer is coming up or the laptop is coming up. We should say the computer is booting. Booting means it is coming up. We just switch on the computer, so the computer is booting. Booting means loading of operating system. When you switch on the computer, it will show Windows Server, it will show some arrow and all those things. For example, yeah, you will see something like this, right? The machine is coming up now. So when the machine is coming up, that process is called booting process. We should not say the machine is coming up. We should say the machine is booting. So loading of operating system. Now, very simple question. I hope I'll get an answer from you. Can you please tell me in your computer or laptop, whatever you're using right now, where exactly is your operating system loaded now? In your computer or laptop, where exactly is the operating system loaded? Exactly, Avinash. It will be there in hard disk, right? Each and every machine has your operating system, and that operating system is loaded inside your hard disk. But when you take a new machine, there is nothing in the hard disk. Hard disk is all empty. Right now, you're saying the operating system is there in hard disk. That is absolutely correct. In hard disk, exactly in C drive. Yeah, this we know very well, right? But what I'm saying here, the operating system by default, it is not there in hard disk, because hard disk is a machine. Hard disk is a component. It is a component that is manufactured by a company like Samsung or Seagate or Western Digital. There are some companies there. So there is no operating system by default in your hard disk. Now what we have to do here is we have to take operating system in a DVD, or we have to take operating system in a USB. Then we have to install the operating system in hard disk. I repeat, take the operating system in a DVD, or remember I showed you the ISO image. Take the operating system in a DVD or take the operating system in this USB drive and do the installation in your hard disk. Then only the operating system will go to hard disk. Okay. Now one more thing. You can see I'm using this machine right now. This is my Windows 10 machine. Can you please tell me where exactly is my operating system right now? When I switch on the computer, the operating system was there in hard disk. But right now my operating system is not running from hard disk. It is running from RAM. It is running from random access memory. So once you switch on the computer, the operating system will go from hard disk to RAM. This process is called booting process. I repeat, this process is called booting process. But what I said before, when you take a new machine, whether a computer or a server, there is nothing in this hard disk. Hard disk will be all empty. So what we have to do now, we have to go to Microsoft company, or we have to go to Linux company. From there, we need to download our operating system. We need to download the operating system like We need to buy a DVD or we need to download that operating system in a USB. So now we need to install the operating system from USB to the hard disk. So this process is called installation process. Installation means installing your operating system from DVD or USB into hard disk. This is called installation. So we have to install our operating system from USB or DVD into hard disk. So once we install the operating system in our hard disk, from hard disk it will go to RAM and your machine is up and running. So you can see clearly my machine is up and running because the operating system is already installed in my hard disk. But what if it is a new machine in company? So of course it will be a new machine, right? So there is no operating system available. So first we should do the installation part, then the operating system will move from hard disk to RAM. Okay, I'll take a break here for 30 seconds. Just try to understand this concept, friends. It is a very important part we need to understand. I repeat, then I'll take a break. I'm saying once you purchase a server, once you buy a server or a computer or a laptop, there is no operating system in that machine in most of the cases, if not all, in most of the cases. So as the administrator, one of the most important responsibility of administrator is installation of softwares, whether it is Windows operating system or whether it is Windows Server operating system or Windows Client operating system, or maybe whether it is applications like MS Office, antivirus and all those things. These applications also we need to see how to install in coming classes. But as of now, one of the most important responsibility of administrator in any company is installation. Done. Now see, you have like 50 servers and you have like 300 or 3000 computers now. So what you do now, every computer there is a hard disk and every server there is a hard disk, but by default the hard disk is all empty. So what you have done, you have purchased the operating system from Microsoft or Linux in a DVD, or you have downloaded the image of that operating system in a USB. So now you took the USB, you go to that particular computer, a particular server, you connect the USB or a DVD to that particular server, and you do the installation in that server. From your DVD or from USB, you do the installation in your server. So once you finish the installation, then the machine has the operating system and the machine will work. Without operating system, we know very well the machine cannot work. So this installation part we have to do, whether there are 2 servers or whether there are 200 servers, whether there are 100 computers or whether there are 50,000 computers. Our responsibility is, one of the responsibilities, installation of operating systems. Done. Now please take your time, 30 seconds. Just try to understand this concept. Then we will move to the next concept. Okay, there is a question here like, can you explain the USB installation? See, whether it is USB installation or DVD installation, it is absolutely same. Instead of connecting a DVD to the server, we are connecting the USB port. There is no difference here. Whether it is USB or DVD, the installation part is completely same. There is no difference. Okay. Now, let us see how to do the installation. Steps to install Windows operating system. And these steps are same for server operating system and client operating system. Server operating systems are like Windows Server 2012, 16, 19. Client operating system is like Windows 10, Windows 8, or Windows 11 maybe. But all the installation part is same. Okay. So what we have to do? I'll just write step by step. It will be very easy for you to remember. Okay. So the first step here is take the operating system DVD or ISO image. ISO image means this image we need to copy in USB. Okay, take the OS DVD or ISO image in USB. Switch on the computer. See, when I say computer, I am referring to computer as well as server. Okay, switch on the computer. Again, write here computer or server and enter in BIOS. There is an option in every computer and server, friends, that is called BIOS. BIOS stands for Basic Input Output System. Basic Input Output System. So what exactly is this BIOS? Now remember the booting process. Your machine is loading your operating system. That is called booting. Now your machine can boot from DVD. Your machine can boot from USB. Your machine can boot from hard disk, or your machine can boot from server. Your machine can boot from any one of these options. I repeat, hard disk, CD, hard disk, CD or DVD, USB, and a server. So suppose imagine you're installing operating system from DVD. So what we have to do, we have to switch on the computer and enter in BIOS. In this BIOS, there is an option of selecting the DVD. So we can say boot from DVD. Or suppose you are installing the operating system from USB. So what we have to do again, switch on the computer and enter in BIOS. In BIOS, there is an option of selecting the option as USB. Or if you are installing the operating system from a server, like for example, there are 500 computers. Installing operating system in 500 computer will take some days or maybe some weeks actually, because installation will take at least half an hour. So it will take a lot of time for us to do the installation. So what we do here is, instead of installing operating system in an individual machine, we just install the operating system from server into all the 500 computers. How to do this, that we will see in our coming classes, but as of now just try to understand. We can install operating system from a server in the computer. So if you're installing operating system from server in a computer, in computer what we have to do, switch on the computer, enter in BIOS, and in this BIOS we need to select the boot option as server. Then the computer will get operating system from server. See here, these are the boot options we have. Yeah, I hope you can see clearly. First option is CD-ROM. CD-ROM or DVD-ROM, it will be written as CD-ROM or DVD-ROM. Second option is removable device. Removable device means your USB. Third option is hard disk. And the fourth option is network drive. Network boot means your server. So these are the four options we have in every computer. Okay, I repeat, every computer has a BIOS. It is a small software available by default in your computer. It is there in your computer by default, and in that BIOS software we need to select the boot option, whether we are installing operating system from CD DVD or we are installing from the removable device. Removable device means USB, or the hard disk, or the server. These four options are available in every machine. Now the big question here is, yeah Avinash, you're absolutely right there. Okay, now the big question here is how to enter in BIOS. What I said here, switch on the computer or server and enter in BIOS and select boot option. But the main question here is how to enter in BIOS. Now to enter in BIOS, there is a very simple way. What we have to do, to enter in BIOS, switch on the computer and press, these are the keys, press F2 or F10 or delete. When you see your keyboard, you can see F2 key there, F10 key, or we can say delete key also, right? So press F2, F10 or delete key within 3 to 4 seconds. That's it. What we have to do here, friends, to enter in BIOS, switch on the computer and press F2, F10 or delete within 3 to 4 seconds. So once you press these keys within 3 to 4 seconds, we will enter into BIOS. And how BIOS will look? BIOS will look exactly like this. What you see on your screen is the BIOS. Okay, it is majorly in this blue color and it will be presented like this. This is also BIOS actually in some advanced computer, but in most of the cases we will see BIOS like this. So whichever machine you are using, whichever company machine you are using, BIOS will be available, and you just need to go to BIOS, and there is your option in this BIOS called boot option. You can see boot here. So in that boot option, we have these booting options here. We need to select our boot option, whether we are installing OS from DVD or USB or hard disk or server. These are the 4 options we have. Okay, so how to enter in BIOS, friends? Switch on the computer. To enter in BIOS, switch on the computer and press F2 or F10 or delete. In some computers, it will be F2. In some computers, it will be F10. In some computers, it will be delete button. It depends on your company. Okay, and within 2-3 seconds only, we need to press actually. Within 2-3 seconds, we need to press that particular key. Got it? So these are the steps to install the operating system. Take the OS DVD or ISO image, switch on the computer or the server and enter in BIOS and select the boot option. And to enter in BIOS, we need to press this particular keys. Okay, so after you do this many things, you know what it will do? It will say press any key to continue. It will ask you to press any key on your keyboard. So once you press any key on your keyboard, now installation begins. That's it. Once you press any key, the installation part will begin now. Hello. Anyone said anything? Any question here? Okay, fine. Got the scenario, friends? So just take your time again, 30 seconds. Just try to see these 4 steps clearly. They will ask you this question for sure in interview. Wherever you are facing the question, maybe in India, maybe somewhere in Australia, maybe somewhere in UK, maybe somewhere in Dubai, maybe somewhere in America. This is a very, very common question we will face in interviews. How to install the operating system. And in most of the cases, as a fresher, this is one of the most common work we do in companies, installation. There are some hundreds and thousands of computers in our company. If the company is small, also there are some 70, 80 computers or maybe like 100, 200 computers, right? So there are more computers in our company. So whenever there is a problem in a computer operating system, it is a responsibility of a fresher to go to that computer and do the installation. This is one of the most common work we do in companies as a administrator, installation of operating system. See, there are many computers here, right? What if there is a problem in this computer somewhere? We have to do install OS. What if there is a problem here? What if there is a problem here? He is a marketing person. She is a finance person. He is a salesperson. He is a manager, that is HR. So like we have different people working here, right? So these people responsibility is according to their work. Marketing people will work for marketing, sales people are in sales, finance people are in finance, HR people are in HR. So they do their work. What is our work? Maintaining all these computers and maintaining all these softwares in their computer and providing some security, providing their policies. All this is under administration. So one of the most important work or one of the most common work we do is the installation. Fine. So this is your installation. I hope it is clear now. Now let us move to the next big thing. Okay, we are installing, but We can install the operating system in a physical machine, or there is something called virtual machine. Physical machine is very clear. Physical machine is a laptop or a computer or a server that you have in your home, or maybe in the office. That is a physical machine. Whatever we have seen here, all these are physical machines, right? You can see clearly. This is a physical CPU. This is a physical CPU. All these are physical CPUs. So what exactly is this virtual CPU? See, whenever I say virtual means I'm talking about something which is not there physically, which is like a software. Now there is a very simple example I can say here. Now, if I open a particular file here, okay, I'll just open a file. There is a file here called remaining topics. If I just open a file here, can you see there are some topics written here? So this is a file here actually, and this file is actually a virtual file. Virtual file means you can see, you can open, you can read, you can do everything, but this is virtual. But once if you make a printout, once you do the printout of this particular file, then it will become a hard copy. There is something called soft copy, and there is something called hard copy. Soft copy means the file is available inside your computer. That is called soft copy. Hard copy means the file is available on a paper. That is called hard copy, right? So in this same way, virtual means which is something like a soft copy, which is available inside your computer. Okay, and hard copy means which is available like a hardware. So when you do MCAC practicals here, friends, for MCAC practicals, we should have minimum 2 computers. I repeat, for MCAC practicals, we must have minimum 2 computers. So how many people are here who are using 2 computers personally? I don't think anyone is here, right? No one will use 2 computers. They go with only 1 computer or maybe 1 laptop. So how to do MCAC practicals by using 1 computer? You know what we have to do? We have to go with a software here called virtualization software, VMware software. So before we do the installation of operating system, we need to understand what exactly is this VMware or what exactly is this virtualization. I repeat again, a computer can be a physical computer or it can be a virtual computer. A server can be a physical computer or physical server, it can be a virtual server. Physical servers are very rare. You know, cloud computing is very famous. Nowadays, there are more opportunities on cloud computing. So what we do on cloud computing, we create a virtual server. Virtual server means it is a server within a physical server. Okay. Okay. I'll explain you all these things now. Okay, fine. So I'll take a machine here. This is some hardware. Okay, friends. So this is your hardware here. And this hardware has, suppose imagine everyone is having some hardware like RAM should be like how much here? It should be minimum 6 GB, or if it is 8 GB, then it is well and good. To do all your practicals, to create multiple virtual machines in your single physical machine, minimum RAM you should have is 8 GB. 6 GB is also manageable, but if it is 8 GB, then it is well and good. Then we should have some CPU, that is your processor. Any processor is better actually, which is i3 or above. If you have a processor like i3 or above means i3, i5, i7, i9, anything, it should be at least this much i3 processor. And hard disk, minimum 100 GB free. Minimum 100 GB free should be there. So if you have a computer with this configuration, friends, 8 GB RAM, processor like i3 or above, and hard disk 100 GB free, then you know what you can do? You can install multiple virtual machines. You can create multiple virtual machines here, and you can do all your practicals easily. Got it? If you have a computer with at least this configuration, I repeat, 6 GB RAM is also enough. If someone is having only 6 GB RAM, that is also enough. But if you're having 8 GB or more than 8 GB, then it is well and good for you. So just go and check your computer and see how much RAM you have, how much CPU you have, and how much free hard disk is there. If you have this much configuration, then you can do all the practicals of MCS. And remember, I showed you how to check how much RAM and how much processor is there. Just go to this option, this PC, right click on this PC, go to properties of this PC. Here it will show you. See what it is showing? It is showing 16 GB RAM in my computer, and it is showing i5 processor. That means my computer is like having sufficient hardware to create multiple virtual machines. Okay, so please check your machines once you finish your class. Please check your machine, like how much RAM you have and how much processor you have. Okay, so this should be the hardware, minimum hardware in your machine. Now, on top of your hardware, what we have here? On top of the hardware, we have something called operating system. I am using Windows 10 operating system in my machine. This shows Windows 10. You know, once I install Windows 10 operating system in my machine, Windows 10 operating system will use 2 GB RAM. Out of available 8 GB RAM, how much it will use? It will use 2 GB RAM. Okay, so Windows 10 will already use 2 GB RAM. So how much GB RAM is available now? Approximately 6 GB RAM is available in my computer. 6 GB RAM is free in my computer. See, total RAM in my computer is 8 GB, for example. Out of 8 GB, my operating system will use 2 GB for sure. If you go with like Windows 7 operating system, it will use a bit less, but Windows 10 operating system will use 2 GB RAM for sure. Okay, so the available RAM here is only 6 GB. The free RAM is only 6 GB. Now, how to see how much RAM is available for free? You know, this is called taskbar, the bottom one. Just right click on taskbar and go to task manager. Go to taskbar and click on this task manager. So once you click on task manager, there is an option called performance, and in this performance you can see clearly. So right now it is showing my memory is 4.4 GB in use. Why it is 4.4 GB in use? Because I'm using some browser and all those things here, right? So that is the reason it is using 4.4 GB. So here you can see clearly how much GB RAM is available, how much GB RAM is available to use in your machine. Totally how much GB RAM is there, and out of that much RAM, how much GB RAM is already in use. So it is saying around 27% RAM is already in use from my 16 GB RAM. Okay, still there is no problem. I have like sufficient RAM. Okay, fine. Now, so we have a hardware here and we have the operating system. This is a very normal machine, right? You also have the operating system in your machine. But now what we need to do here, friends, is we need to install a software here. We need to install a software. Remember, we said we have to create virtual machines in our physical machine, right? So how to create virtual machines in our physical machine? To create virtual machines in our physical machine, we have a software called VMware Workstation. It is VMware Workstation, or it can be Oracle VirtualBox. These are the two softwares we have, VMware Workstation and Oracle VirtualBox. Use any one of the software here, friends, VMware Workstation or Oracle VirtualBox. What is the use of this software? The use of this software is, by using this software, we can create multiple virtual machines in one physical machine. I repeat, by using this software, VMware Workstation or Oracle VirtualBox, we can create multiple virtual machines in one single physical machine. So if this software is not available in your computer, you cannot create multiple virtual machines in one physical machine. No way possible. I repeat again. If this VMware Workstation software or Oracle VirtualBox is not available in your computer, you cannot create your virtual machine. So see, in my computer, this VMware software is already installed. This is that software. This is your VMware Workstation software. This software we need to simply install in our physical machine. And can you see there is an option, it is showing you to create a new virtual machine. So by using this software, it is called simulation software. These are used for practical purpose. You can take one computer, one physical computer, you can you can create multiple virtual machines and you can do all practicals. To do MCSE practicals, you need one server machine, or in some cases, you need two server machines. So how to create one server machine and two server machines? We just need to create a virtual machine. And in that virtual machine, we need to install the server operating system. Got it? You should create one virtual machine and you should install a server operating system. VirtualBox will also work here. You can go with VirtualBox or Oracle VirtualBox or Hyper-V VirtualBox, or you can go with like VMware Workstation. You need any software. These are very common softwares actually. So take any of the software and install the software in your computer, and then you can create your virtual machines. If this software is not available, then creation of virtual machines is not possible. If this software is available, then creation of virtual machines is possible. Okay, I'll do one thing. I will share this software with you. I'll share this software with all of you. So I'm sending a message in the chat box. I just sent a message there, friends. So I just sent an email ID there actually. So try to ping on that email ID. So I'll just share the VMware Workstation software with you. Okay, so just ping on that mail ID. You will get your software. So you can install this software in your computer and you can create virtual machines and you can do all the practicals. Done. So let us go back to the scenario again. I hope it is clear now. We have a hardware, minimum 8 GB RAM, i3 or above, and minimum 100 GB free space should be there. So if this hardware is available in your machine, then what you can do, there is already some operating system running there, right? Windows 8 or Windows 10 or whatever. So install that operating system. And on top of that operating system, we should have this software, VMware Workstation or Oracle VirtualBox. Now we have to create virtual machines here. So let me say this is one virtual machine here, and this is another virtual machine. We have like two virtual machines created. Okay. So this virtual machine is for server and this virtual machine is for client. Server VM means virtual machine. So how much we have to take for server VM, or what we have to take for server VM? We have to take RAM at least 2 GB. We have to take processor at least 2 cores. I'll show all these things, how to take all these 2 cores. We have to take hard disk at least, 60 GB. 40 GB is also sufficient, but I'll go with like 60 GB. This much configuration we have to take for our server virtual machine. Now see, let us calculate again. Total how much GB RAM is there in your machine here, friends? Totally you have 8 GB RAM here, right? Totally you have 8 GB RAM. Out of this 8 GB RAM, your Windows 10 operating system will use 2 GB RAM. So how much GB RAM is available now? Only 6 GB RAM is available. Now what we have done, we have created a virtual machine, and in this virtual machine, we are installing server operating system. So for this virtual machine, how much GB RAM we have taken now? We have taken another 2 GB. So 6 GB minus 2 GB will be how much? 4 GB is still remaining, right? 4 GB RAM is still remaining. Okay. Now we have one more machine to create here. See, this is your client machine. And what we do on client machine, we only give 1 GB RAM. That is more than enough. So once you allocate 1 GB RAM for this client machine, you know what happens now? It will use another 1 GB. So how much will be remaining now? Another 3 GB RAM is still remaining in your machine. Okay, so we should calculate our RAM and we should divide our RAM for all these virtual machines. So another 3 GB RAM is available. So what I will do here is, instead of assigning 2 GB to this server machine, I will go with like 3 GB, because if I give 3 GB to this server, my server performance will be better. So 3 GB means I have to do -1 here again. So still 2 GB RAM is available for free in my machine. Still 2 GB RAM is in used in my machine. Still it is a good machine. Okay, my physical machine has still 2 GB RAM available. So you can do some browsing or searching or whatever while practicing. If you have to search something over the Google, you can go there and you can search. This is the way we have to divide. I repeat again, totally 8 GB RAM is there in your machine. So out of 8 GB, 2 GB RAM will be already used by your operating system that is installed in your laptop or a computer. So 2 GB RAM is already over. So remaining RAM is only 6 GB. So from this 6 GB RAM, we can, divide our RAM to these virtual machines. So 3 GB RAM we are allocating for the server and 1 GB RAM we are allocating for the client. So totally we have allocated 4 GB RAM. So 4 GB RAM will be used by virtual machines and 2 GB RAM is used by your physical machine, but still we have like 2 more GB RAM available to use. Okay, now one more thing. When I say this 3 GB RAM is used by this virtual machine, okay, when this 3 GB RAM is used by virtual machine, remember one thing, this 3 GB RAM will be used by virtual machine when the virtual machine is powered on. This 1 GB RAM will be used by the virtual machine when the virtual machine is powered on. If the virtual machine is not powered on, the RAM will not be utilized. So don't feel like, okay, we are creating virtual machines, so it is using more hardware. No. Whenever you are switching on the virtual machines, then only the RAM will be used. If you're not using virtual machines, if you're not practicing your MCSE concepts and all those things, then the virtual machines will not use any RAM or any CPU. If they are powered on, then only they will use the RAM as well as the processor, or else it will not be in use. Normally in my computer, I have like, around 30, 20, 15 virtual machines created. Why that many virtual machines? Because I take classes for Windows as well as for Linux. So in Linux, I'll create like 2, 3 machines in one batch. In Windows, I'll create like 2, 3 machines in one batch. So if there are like 3, 4 batches running, there are around 15 virtual machines created in my physical machine. In one physical machine, I have created like 15 virtual machines. So if I create 15 virtual machines in my one physical machine, but I'm not using all 15 machines at the same time, right? I'm using how many? I'm using only 2 or 3 virtual machines. It depends on the class. If I'm taking morning 8 o'clock class, then there are 2, 3 virtual machines I need to switch on. But suppose there is a class at 9:30. So what I do, this 8 o'clock class virtual machines, I will shut down. Then I will go to that 9:30 class virtual machines and I'll open those virtual machines. So like this, I can rotate. So in your machine also, friends, if you're not using virtual machines, the virtual machines will not use any RAM or any processor. It will be simply there as a file or a folder. It will be there. That's it. So this is the concept, friend. This much we have to do. This much hardware we should have, and this configuration we have to do. So this is your minimum again. So in this computer, we will go with the uh, Windows 7 operating system. This is your client OS, and client OS RAM should be minimum 1 GB. That is enough. CPU 1 core is enough. Hard disk, let's say 40 GB is enough. So for a client machine, this much configuration is enough. But for server machine, just try to take the configuration a bit more, because server machine should be there with good configuration, because server operating system is more heavier than your client operating system. Okay, friends, so just take your time again, 30 seconds. Just try to understand the scenario, whatever we have seen till now. And if you still have any doubts, we will clear all our doubts. This is called virtualization. Installing or creating multiple virtual machines and installing multiple operating systems in all these virtual machines and using them at the same time. We can use both the virtual machines at the same time. This concept is called virtualization concept. It's a very simple concept to use. Okay, it's a very famous technology actually, virtualization technology. So we'll be creating virtual machines and we'll be doing all this work. And remember friends, the chat box is always open for you. So whenever you have any question, you can just simply send me a message in the chat box. And when you send a message to me privately, only I can read the message. But when you send a message in public, everyone can read the message. So if there is a question, better we can send in the public actually, because that question will be useful for each and every other person. If there is something which you need to talk to only me, then you can send me in private. But normal questions you can send me in public so that other people also can see the question and other people also can understand that particular question. Okay, friends, so I hope it is clear now. The virtualization concept is clear. So I'll do one thing. We still have like a couple of minutes here. I'll just try to show you like how to create a virtual machine. Tomorrow when we come, then we will see how to create a virtual machine again in more details, how to install the operating system in that virtual machine. All these things we will see tomorrow. It will take again one class for us. So tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow also we have a class. Let us see what we can do on Saturday and Sunday. This Saturday and Sunday actually. The classes will be there from Monday till Friday for sure. Saturdays it may there, it may not be there. But in most of the cases, I will take classes on Saturdays also. Sunday will be a holiday for sure. Okay. So tomorrow we have class at same time. Now fine. Let us go to this VMware Workstation software and let us try to create some virtual machines. Okay, so this is your VMware Workstation here, friends. So here we can say it is showing you the option create a new virtual machine, or we can just go to this file and we can say create a new virtual machine. Both the options are same. So I'll click on this create a new virtual machine. Now there are two options here. One is typical and one is custom. Typical means whatever things are needed for your virtual machine, it will select all these things. Custom means we can select some advanced options. We can modify our virtual machine. But right now custom is not needed for us. Just go with the typical option and say next. Now in the second step, it is asking you to install the operating system. It is asking like whether you're installing operating system from a ISO image, or whether you're installing the operating system from the DVD or whatever. So better you select the option as I will install the operating system later. What we need to select? I will install the operating system later. We will do one thing. What we will do here is we will divide our configuration into two steps. One is create a virtual machine. First, we will create a virtual machine. Okay. And in the second step, install OS in virtual machine. This will look very easy for you. First, we'll just create a virtual machine. And the second step, we will see how to install the operating system in the virtual machine. Fine. These are the two steps. So let us go back, and what I have selected here, I said I will install the operating system later. So I will install the operating system later means I'm just creating a virtual machine here, friends. OS we will do later. OS installation we will do later. Next. Now it will ask you to select the operating system, which operating system you are planning to install. Like if you go with Microsoft Windows here, you can see Windows Server 2000, Windows 10 here, Windows 8, Windows 7, okay, Windows Server 2016, Windows Server 2019, Windows Server 2008. We can see all the versions here, right? I will go with Windows Server 2016 because that is the operating system we are installing here. Windows Server 2016. Just remember, whichever operating system you are planning to use, select that operating system. Like if you go to Linux operating system, in Linux there are many versions here, right? There is something called SUSE, there is something called Red Hat, there is something called Ubuntu, Fedora, okay, Oracle Linux, Debian, ASUS, CentOS. We have many options here. So whichever operating system you are planning to install, just select that operating system there. Okay, so I'll go with Microsoft Windows, and in Microsoft Windows I will go with Windows Server 2016 operating system. Select your operating system, then send next. Now enter a name. So I've entered the name as Server 1 830 class. It will be easy for me to identify. This is Server 1 830 class. Okay, I've entered the name of that virtual machine, then send next again. Now see how much GB hard disk it has selected here. It has selected 60 GB hard disk. Remember how much hard disk we need to take for a server? We need to take 60 GB here, right? See, it is 60 GB. So 60 GB is already selected there. But you know what I will do here? This is a classroom computer. This is a main server. So instead of 60 GB, I'll go with like 100 GB. But when you do practicals on your machine, if you go with 60 GB, that is more than enough. Okay, but I'll go with like 100 GB here. Keep the default options. No need to make any changes there. Just say 100 GB and send next. Now, before you say finish here, go to this customize hardware and see memory it has selected is 2 GB. By default, it will select only 2 GB RAM. But what I can do, I can go with like 4 GB. See, I can go with 4 GB in my computer because I have totally 16 GB RAM. So I can go with 4 GB easily. But can you go with 4 GB in your computer? It's up to your computer configuration. If your computer has only 6 GB RAM or 8 GB RAM, then you cannot go with like 4 GB, right? You can go with only like 2 GB or 3 GB. But in my computer, I have totally 16 GB RAM. So I can go with like 4 GB here. That is well and good. 4 GB RAM is well and good. Okay, now coming to processors. See, there is only one and one selected here. So better go with like one processor and number of cores as 2. Number of core means, remember core, one core is working as one processor here. So I have selected one processor and I have selected 2 cores there. So total number of cores are 2. If you select this much in your computer, that is more than enough. But again, I have sufficient hardware in my computer, so I'll go with like 2 and 2. That means I have selected totally 4 cores. So it is working like 4 processors here. So I have selected 4 GB RAM and I have selected 4 processors here. That is a very, very good configuration. Done. Then I have to say like close. Say finish. That's it. See, server 1 830 class, the virtual machine is created successfully. Server 1 830 class machine is created successfully. And how much GB RAM I have here? 4 GB RAM. Processor is 4. Hard disk is 100 GB. These are the 3 main things we need to see. If you want to decrease or increase, we can simply go to edit settings, edit virtual machines, and we can increase and decrease. But as of now, this virtual machine is a very, very good virtual machine for my configurations. Okay, I'll just right click on this virtual machine. I'll go to manage. I'll say delete from disk. Okay, I have created the virtual machine as well as I have deleted it because when we come tomorrow, again we will see this virtualization concept in brief, and then we will go and create the virtual machine. Then we will install operating system inside that virtual machine. Got it? This is the class for tomorrow. We will see how to use virtualization software. We will see how to create a virtual machine, and we will see how to install the operating system in that virtual machine. So once we do the OS installation, we are more than ready to move into our administration part. Got it, friends? So please take your time, 30 seconds. So that's it for today. And if you have any doubts, any questions from today's session or any other question, then hopefully we can clear all our doubts. So over to you now. Okay, fine. So I guess everything is clear here. So that's it, friends. That's it for today. So tomorrow when we come, we will see the installation part. And like I said you before, installation is one of the most important concept the administrator should know. Okay, so that we will see tomorrow. Okay, fine. So take care, guys. Take care and see you tomorrow at same time. Bye.